what is your job? What do you do?
I'm a sales representative at an automobile firm. To make it in plain English, I sell cars.
You're a car salesman?
Yeah, I am.
How did you decide to do that?
Oh, well, it's not very often that you come across a lady sales rep in my country. In
Or
the whole
here?
Or here?
Here either, no.
And in the whole of my country, there is, I think, only about 3 sales ladies, you know. And I thought, well, I go into it, you know, something new.
Do you know much about cars?
Oh, well, not much, just enough to swindle my customers, I guess.
Oh, you pretty little thing. There you go. And there is our first group of semifinalists.
My parents were very, very strict. I was the 9th in a family of 10. So I was actually allowed to do almost anything I want to do, only if it was with my brothers along. So, you know, that led me to being kind of a tomboyish. I played kites, ran after the kites when they broke, play spiders, anything that you get, tops, the spinning tops, yeah. Anything that you can think a boy in that age would, in that era would do, I was doing. Grew up very regimented parents, yes, I must. But thanks to them though.
There's 4 of us girls, right? And we grew up with having a father who's a Dato and my mother was a Miss Malaysia. And to me that was like, yeah, doesn't everybody have that? You know what I mean? It was such a normal thing, and neither of our parents ever, you know, growing up made us feel like they were special. So to us, you know, it was, everyone had parents and we had parents, and it wasn't any different.
I represented my school for swimming and diving. So 3 to 6, I was almost black as midnight. I was such a tomboy. I was just telling my friends the other day actually that I never realized that I was pretty. You know, I really didn't realize, because you just cut your hair short and running around doing boys things and all the tomboyish things all the time, so you just don't think that, you know. And it was before I went into college that there was a little bit of time that I started, oh, why not, you know. Then it started with the Cupex Queen and Miss Perak and a few others, you know, that landed me at the Miss Malaysia 1970.
But I do always remember, you know, looking at her tiara that she won at Miss Expo, you know. It's still in our house now. I guess growing up, on reflection, that would have been different, to grow up looking at the pictures of my mother who did all these things. So maybe, yeah, definitely a lot of admiration for my mother growing up.
When I was waiting for my Form 5 results, I finished Form 5, I think, when I got my results, I was 16. In the olden days, you see, I can say in the olden days now, we had double promotion. So I had double promotion when I was in the primary classes, so I finished earlier. And when I finished my Form 5, I was waiting for the results. My mum at that time told me, go and do LCCI, go and do, learn how to do typing and shorthand and all that. I finished my typing, I finished my LCCI, but I failed very badly in my shorthand. You see, I'm not born to be a somebody's secretary, obviously. In between that, when I done that, my mum wanted me to go and study in Australia. I didn't want to go so far away from home. I decided to do something here for a while and see how it goes. And that's when I joined this car company. And because it was the only car company that gave their salespeople a car to drive. So I joined just for that, okay? My boss, if he's around, he's not going to be happy. But I did well for them. I did okay for them, you know, and for myself as well. So that was the reason I was there as a car sales representative. I was there, I think, for about 6 months. And it was in that 6 months that I went from one beauty contest to another beauty contest just for the fun of it.
My mother is much less regimented now than she used to be. But I don't think it was a bad thing at all because, you know, there are things that need to be done and you should do them in this way, and other ways are less likely to be as efficient. And I think these are the principles that, you know, she has grown up with and that has continued towards her success. Of course, growing up, I was a rebellious child, but it's only on hindsight now that I'm an adult. It took me all of, 28 years that I reflect and go, you know what, that's why my mother is so successful at what she does, because she does things, she does it properly. It's very meticulous. Actually, my mother was much more regimented in terms of etiquette. When you go to people's house, you say thank you. When they give you a drink, you sit with your legs nicely. You don't sit kang-kang. You walk nicely. We used to, kids used to walk their legs kang-kang, right? She would, like hit us at the back of hit us on the arm, walk properly. So we all walk properly, and you offer to wash up if you have dinner at if you're a guest and you have dinner. So I think these sort of regimens that she put in place for us were essential.
Still my mom, yes. She's my pillar of strength. I would always come back to talk to her about what I wanted to do and what my brothers would want me to do. All in all, if I had not got her approval in the things that I would want to do, I remember she allowed me to go for my first party. Last time we used to have house parties, and that was with my brother along. So if not for her approval, I probably would never have gone. So she is actually my my know-all, in that time, yeah.
Saya sekarang bekerja di sebuah syarikat Sound and Light Company di Petaling Jaya. Dan bagaimana kalau kata bermula saya punya interest dengan dalam everything about Rati Cantik ni, sebenarnya daripada, kalau saya boleh ingat balik kepada zaman 1985, because my sister selalu beli magazine, wanita, magazine those yang untuk ladies baca kan, untuk girls baca. During that time ada Ratu Cantik Venezuela. I mean, Miss World selalu datang Malaysia during that period of time, tahun 80-an. Tapi yang perempuan ni dia cantik, dia kulit dia punya kecantikan dia tak macam orang biasa. Tapi sebab tu start daripada situ saya rasa macam the spark tu dia datang. Kita nak tahu kenapa dia ni special, kenapa perempuan ni, kenapa this beauty queen ni like so special compare to orang lain. Dan yang officially saya rasa start pada tahun 1992, pertandingan Ratu Cantik Miss Universe buat dekat di Thailand. And then time tu saya tak pandai baca bahasa Inggeris, saya baca surat khabar Melayu dan keluar gambar hitam putih, top 3 punya fotos. So start from there, saya lagi curious nak tahu kenapa, macam mana dia boleh menang, sebab banyak peserta. Dalam ramai-ramai peserta tu, kenapa dia yang dipilih?
When you are not having a long-term plan with something, it's all practically for a good experience or to have just the fun of doing it, yeah, with your brothers along, and you do not really think very much of it. But when you win, then you tell yourself, hey, this is for real. You're going to represent your country, and you better now, know what's good and what's, yeah. But even then, at the tender age of 18, you can't really understand. You have to get on the stage, and then you see that it's so awesome. It's actually quite daunting, yeah. But before that, it's just say, well, let's see what happens, yeah. So that's how you take it. I suppose it's good because then you don't stress yourself too much, yeah. So from there, I suppose it takes me to now, where I believe that in life, sometimes you really have to take it a day at a time.
Then I was 3 or 4. For as long as I remembered, I was going to be Miss Malaysia. And I remember falling down, I cut my leg, I cried, not because it's pain, but because I'm going to get a scar and then I won't be able to win Miss Malaysia. Somehow, none of my sisters grew up that way. I was always the one that played with her makeup. I was always much more interested in, much more vain lah. She tried to, whack it out of me a little bit here and there, not physically, obviously, but, tell me, there's a Chinese upbringing, vanity is not looked upon in a good light. You don't want your children to be vain. And so, my mother made it very clear that, concentrating on my looks was not going to get me anywhere at all. And she was right. Yes, I did enter a beauty pageant, but it wasn't my looks that got me the title. It was everything else that was instilled from a young age, a lot of it by my mother and my father as well.
Honestly, initially I didn't know my auntie was a beauty queen. When I met her, when they got married, I was like probably 10 years old, so I never really realized it until when they came to KL. I saw her glass case with the crown, and it was, asked her, what is it? And she said she won this pageant, and she never really, mentioned it to anybody. She didn't boast about it, so until we asked about it. And then she explained to me she won the Miss Expo in Japan, and she went for Miss Malaysia, Miss Universe as Miss Malaysia in 1970. So I was quite surprised, actually. Quite surprised and proud in a way, yes. And Andrea, well, I kind of expected it. She always had her mother's looks and style, so I expected it. So it's kind of nice to have two of them in the family, actually.
Dua different era yang berbeza dan sangat jauh. Masa saya mengenal industri Ratu Cantik also, Datin Josephine Fonsekas dah nowhere to be seen, not in the scene anymore. So, tetapi because dia pencapaian dia until now, she's the only one yang pemenang Miss Malaysia Universe yang berjaya masuk ke semifinal Miss Universe. So until now, tak ada orang yang break the record kan. So saya buat kita punya my own kajian, dan starting daripada yang saya jumpa sebelum dia jadi Miss Malaysia Universe lagi. Dia pernah jadi Ratu Miss Februari dekat Bandar Ipoh, dia pernah jadi Ratu pesta lumut, dan ada several small beauty pageants dekat around Ipoh, Bandar Ipoh, dan sampai dia masuk Miss Malaysia Universe dan sampai dia menang Ratu Expo. Ratu Expo ni dia punya prestige dia sama macam lebih kurang Miss Universe, because benda pertandingan tu before Miss Universe, before they go to US nak bertanding, dan dia menang, di-crownkan by the Miss Universe the tahun before-nya. Lepas tu beliau balik Malaysia and then senyap, and then masuk menjadi salah seorang marketing ke director, if not mistaken, dekat Kanebo cosmetic company. And after that dia membesarkan keluarga semualah.
You don't feel the competition simply because you're not taking all that so seriously, yeah. So it's not like you have to pass an exam. If you get there, you get there. If you don't get there, it's just we know that from the very start there is only going to be one winner. But I really didn't know my sister was going to be Miss Pahang. So when I went down to KL as Miss Perak, I was actually quite surprised to know that she was actually Miss Pahang. And I told her, I said, why you can't wait? Because then who knows? If I won, she could have won the next year. Or if she had won, I could have won the next year, So we both could have had a better chance of becoming Miss Malaysias. But it was fun to have her there.
It's only the real hardships in life that can teach you real things. And going through winning Miss Universe Malaysia when I was 19, getting the flack for being bigger and everything, it really made me appreciate everything that I have now. And going through that helped me realize what needed to change when I ran Miss Universe Malaysia. I mean, and I could look at all these girls and say, you need to do this, this, and this. Why? Because I know. Because I didn't do that. And now I know you have to do this. And I know how.
Pada saya sebab maybe beliau senang sangat friendly. Yang salah satu kualiti yang nak menjadi ratu cantik ni sangat friendly, dan dia tidak terlalu senang didekati. Tapi senang didekati, which means dia ada heart dia. Dia pandai membawa diri dia, dan bila dalam berkomunikasi, beliau tahu macam mana nak control the situation. Dan lagi satu, sangat berpengetahuan. Macam itu. Dan segala aura dia tu menarik.
My auntie, what I like most about her is she's hardworking, you know. She strives for the best always. Whether it's her kids, her husband, or even work, she tries her very best, you know, to do whatever she can to achieve the best. That's what I like about her, that she really works hard for everything.
Yes, that was in fact my first time I was out of home. The first time I traveled away from home, and we went to Osaka first before we went to Miami Beach. Frankly, I was rather homesick, you know. Whether I could have done better or not, if I was less homesick, we'll never know. But it was a fantastic experience. It is an experience that if anybody were to come to me and say, I want to go and join and be Miss Malaysia, if I see the potential, I would say, go ahead, you know. But always try to keep your head on your shoulders, yeah? Because when you're young like that, it's very easy to go astray.
Dua-dua mereka, Datin, Fonsekas dengan Andrea, mereka mempunyai strong personality. Walaupun mempunyai strong personality, tapi mereka very friendly, dan mereka tahu apa yang mereka nak. Sebagai seorang wanita, mereka stand up to dia punya rights. Dia tahu apa mereka nak. Itu yang saya boleh kata tentang mereka. Dan kalau mereka perlukan sesuatu, mereka akan really works towards nak dapatkan yang what they want in life.
A lot of it is a bit of a blur, to be honest, but I was so young and so brazenly thick-skinned. I was like, I got this. I'm going to answer my Q&A. If I win, I win. If I don't win, hey, I tried. But there was this, I don't know, there's this deep metal sort of strength belief in my heart that I knew that, and I don't know if it was being stupid. You know how you can be like bodoh sombong? Because looking back, I definitely wasn't ready, you know, to be a part. My mother could see I wasn't ready, but she wasn't going to tell me, Andrea, you got a bit too much baby fat on you now. She'd wait till later. But I mean, obviously, chicken and egg life. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't be where I am now, you know, so who knows. But it was just so, I was happy that I won, and it was more like a tick off, you know, I've got to be Miss Malaysia. And then what? I didn't think of anything further than that. I went to university, because my parents made it very clear education was, you know, one of the most important things for us. And that was it. And I've always wanted to be in the entertainment industry, always, for as long as I remembered that I wanted to be Miss Malaysia. So when I went to Singapore, and then I started working in Singapore, and that was that.
Andrea, well, I've always found her to be a very loving person, very, she likes to help people, very accommodating, you know. And I don't know, I can sum up in one word, very loving.
I was almost as regimented as my mum was, truly. Yeah, I was, you know. And, but now, they're all grown. My eldest is 40. Andrea she's born in 1984, so that would say 29. And we are like friends now, yeah? It is, and I hope they would, and I can see that now that my eldest daughter and my second daughter have their own kids, I can see that they are not going to be as regimented as I was, which is a good thing, you know. But sometimes I don't understand, because some things I think when children are growing up, you must really hold on a little bit tighter the rein, you know. I can't agree to children being allowed to do as they like, yeah. But apparently now the trend of bringing up children is quite different. They are allowed to try, you know. So let's see, you know. I mean, I'm only the grandmother, yeah, and perhaps that's the right way. We don't know.
Sebenarnya nak mengembalikan balik zaman kegemilangan lah, saya boleh kata, persediaan. Bukan saja persediaan daripada segi, dia punya pemenang Ratu Cantik, kita nak kena bersedia. Persediaan daripada segi fashion, daripada fashion sense, everything about her, dia punya wardrobe, training, dan paling penting kita tengok luar negara, peserta daripada luar negara. Peminat daripada negara tersebut akan, kalau Ratu Cantik yang pemenang tu saja nak promote diri beliau ke media antarabangsa, tak cukup. So luckily kalau kita nak buat benda yang sama, nak bagi promotion yang sangat kuat, kita perlukan sokongan daripada peminat Ratu Cantik yang berada di dalam Malaysia. Okay. Kita ada Facebook, Twitter, you name it, kita kena buat benda tu. Kita posting, even dekat luar negara ada beberapa beauty pageant punya websites yang kita boleh participate, kita boleh promote our own queen there dan adakan perdebatan. So that's why yang perlukan preparation. Kalau peserta daripada Malaysia, keluarkan gambar yang cantik-cantik. What happened, the favoritism yang berlaku dalam setiap pertandingan Ratu Cantik, setengah ratu dia keluarkan gambar, mereka sebenarnya tak berapa cantik, tapi dia keluarkan gambar studio yang sangat cantik, dia letak dekat Facebook, letak dekat World News for example. So everyone cakap, oh dia cantik, dia cantik, dia cantik. So bila dalam pertandingan Ratu Cantik yang sebenar, orang expect dia menang. But kebanyakan Miss Malaysia, mereka tidak keluar dengan gambar yang hebat, gambar studio yang hebat. Sebab tu orang ingat dia ni biasa-biasa saja.
Lena Teo came in first runner-up, second runner-up at Miss World Malaysia. But Miss World Malaysia has always been very different from Miss Universe Malaysia. They're the two biggest pageants in the world, Miss World Malaysia and Miss Universe Malaysia. And, you know, in the times of Ariana Teo and Lena Teo, that was the glory days of Miss World Malaysia. And then their status was higher in Malaysia. And then with the reality TV series for Miss Universe Malaysia, now that, you know, the status is different, not many people realize there is a difference. The winner of Miss Universe Malaysia goes to Miss Universe, which is owned by Donald Trump and NBC, whereas Miss World International is owned by a lady called Julia Morley. Honestly, going through with Deborah and Kimberly, two girls whom, in my opinion, not just being proud of Malaysia. Of course, everyone thinks that, you know, I'm like, you know, your mother, everybody thinks their daughter's pretty, right? Not just because of that, but just totally objectively, Kimberly and Deborah should have placed at Miss Universe. And it's acknowledged not just by me or by Malaysia, but by people all around the world. I don't know what we can do any different. Kimberly did everything right for Miss Universe, and she still didn't place. And if you look at her, she was in phenomenal shape. Like, you know, Latin American countries who don't even look to Asia, they don't even know where Malaysia is. Latin American countries said that she would place. It was a big shock for everyone.
I think it's not that we are lack of beautiful girls. We are not lack of beautiful girls in Malaysia. But like I said, it's the right time and the right place. Somehow our girls have not been noticed. Yeah? When they go into the international pageant, they have not been noticed. I have been, at my time, I was there as a semi-finalist, perhaps because I won the Miss Expo. So that made Miss Malaysia then been noticed. So when she moves on to the Miss Universe, the Miss Malaysia at that 1970, she was noticed. So that was a big advantage, yeah. But Kimberly was very beautiful. You know, she's truly of international standard. But, you know, when she gets together with the rest of the Miss Universe contestants, they all sort of get blended, and you have to stand out. That X factor, you know, have to just sort of stand out. Maybe we will still get one out there again.